Well, a very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. It's so nice to see all of you in person. May I request you all to kindly rise for the occasion? Can you all stand up, please? Can we have all our beautiful members of the audience rising for the occasion? Now, while we do that, may I request you all to hold the hand of the person on your left and right. Everybody, let's get closer together. It's time to connect like never before. Happy faces in the house. I love smiles on all your faces. Everybody, come on, hand in hand, like one solid association. Now, when I say 3, 2, 1, if you're all ready for this beautiful evening, I want you all to put your hands up in the air and give me the loudest cheer ever. Not yet, not yet. I'll give you the countdown. Here we go. At the count of 3, 2, 1, put your hands up! Fantastic. You may all take your seats. With that, a very warm welcome to all of you to the Times Techies Tech Drive Delhi edition, the last of the series this year as a part of an integral program of the Lenovo IT4 SMB initiative in association with the Times Group. Well, like I said, it's beautiful to see all the happy faces in the house. We kickstarted a series of inspiring and knowledge-sharing engagements in person across multiple cities with Hyderabad in January this year, then Bengaluru in February, Mumbai earlier this month, and now in NCR curated by Times Techies called the Tech Drives as a part of the larger Lenovo IT4 SMB initiative. Lenovo IT4 SMB is a mission-critical initiative for the SMBs to understand and chart out a roadmap on digital transformation that would help them optimize resources, increase operational efficiencies, and offer better customer experiences. The initiative would host sessions starting with tech drives curated by Times Techies to enable the mid-market businesses with smarter technological solutions for growth. Small and medium businesses have always been the growth engines contributing significantly to the country's GDP. In recent times, we have witnessed some fundamental changes in the way we live and conduct business. Being resilient and future-proof are now critical for survival. Businesses of all sizes need to leverage technology to ensure growth in their respective domains. With that in mind, Lenovo launched the IT4 SMB project along with the Times Group. Ladies and gentlemen, to commence the Tech Drive event today, we would like to invite on the stage Mr. Shaju Kumar, Associate Vice President, Response, The Times of India, to deliver the welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a thunderous round of applause for Mr. Kumar?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great pleasure to have all of you with us this evening. We all understand the importance of technology and innovation in our day-to-day lives and how they are transforming the world, and this is more evident in the post-pandemic era. In this context, I'm delighted to welcome all of you to Lenovo IT4 SMB Conversations. IT4 SMB is part of a series of conversations to enable smarter technology for the growth of Indian SMBs. IT4 SMB is an initiative by Lenovo in association with Times Techies and the Economic Times, aimed at creating a unique opportunity to manifest technological excellence. SMBs are the growth engines of our nation, contributing significantly to the country's GDP. Technology can help rewire their businesses, not just making them resilient and future-proof, but also scaling up to the next chapter of growth through innovative strategies that are sustainable and designed to take on the demands of ever-evolving market and consumer sentiments. Lenovo IT4 SMB, backed by Times Techies and the Economic Times, aims to support small and medium businesses to adopt new age technology and transform their businesses and be end-to-end smart and offer consumer experiences that are agile and constantly evolving. In today's business ecosystem, technology and innovation are indispensable. And in the last couple of years, tectonic shifts have driven organizations big and small to reimagine business growth and success. businesses have realized the need for adopting smarter solutions that help in navigating the new business processes, and it's critical for growth and survival. Today, we have very eminent speakers with us to discuss the theme technology and innovation, the bedrock of business growth and opportunity. On behalf of Lenovo and the Times of India Group, I take immense pleasure in welcoming all of them and thank all of them taking their time off during the hectic schedule and joining us for a common cause. The Times Group partnered with Lenovo to create this platform, which will enable exchange of ideas, best practices, case studies, and testimonials of growth. I'm sure you all will find new ideas, thoughts, and partnerships to take your business to the next level. I wish you all a very successful day, and once again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raju, for welcoming the audience and setting context for the day. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ajay Sehgal, Executive Director, Commercial Business, Lenovo India, onto the stage to deliver the inaugural address. Let's welcome him with a thunderous round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, on behalf of Lenovo India, as well as on behalf of Times of India, thank you so much for coming and joining us in this forum. And I'm sure that the kind of flow which Lenovo team and the Times of India has made it, you will definitely get a much more informative sessions. You will get to know a lot of things actually which are happening. And definitely you will get an idea that how technology is changing and how technology is getting innovated and how technology is being adopted in India. So without spending too much time on that, let me just give you a quick update on behalf of Lenovo that how technology is changing, what's happening in the country, first of all, in the name of technology, how Lenovo is empowering small businesses as well as large businesses with the help of technology, and how businesses are evolving over a period of time in India. So let me give you a brief idea about how things are changing. We all are reading newspapers that India is growing at a very fast pace. India is growing at a 6.5% GDP. India is becoming $3.2 trillion economy. India is currently at number 5. The articles are talking about, and government is also quite bullish that India is going to become number 4 as far as the size of the GDP is concerned, and India by 2030 is going to become number 3 as far as the overall GDP is concerned. I think that's one clear area. Second, we are also experiencing, I'm sure that when you're reading articles on a regular basis, when you're observing the data across all industries, we are observing that there is a slowdown. There is a global slowdown. But even if there is a global slowdown, India is quite bullish, and there are various sectors in India, and especially we are sitting in a hotel. The hotel industry is still growing. Day before yesterday, there was an article which was talking about that the hotel industry is growing at a pace of 15 to 20%. So that's the kind of growth which we are experiencing. So few sectors are growing, few sectors are not growing, but the overall, if you look at it at the India as a growth, it's quite bullish, and we from Lenovo side are also quite bullish, I would say, as far as the overall growth is concerned. So one is the overall GDP growth. Second, if you see that we are a quite young country, almost 65% of the population is less than 35 years of age. And there are clear studies which Government of India, the Invest India has already published data that we will remain the youngest population till 2070. So that's the power of the country, that one, obviously we are a young generation population in terms of demography. Second, we are now, and I remember that, the few decades back, we used to see that, our population is growing, whereas now we are proudly saying that we are the supplier of human resources. And I would say the biggest supplier of the human resources. That's the power which we are observing and started feeling in the last, few years' time. Startup is another area. Obviously, I've seen that startup founders are also there with us, and you will see that how startup is growing. As far as the startup is concerned, we are currently number 2 in terms of total count of startups in the world, whereas we are also number 3 as far as the total number of unicorns are concerned. And the kind of investments which we are experiencing in the last few years is humongous. And it also, reflects the overall trust of the different countries. And I was observing that there are close to 160 plus countries who are investing in India. So which gives me a reflection that the kind of trust which the whole world is showing in India. And the trust is also coming up because the kind of infrastructure which we are building up, the kind of growth which we all are experiencing both on our personal front, we call it on a social front, that we are growing because our living standards are growing up, the way we live, the way we operate, is definitely, growing because we are adopting more and more technology. We are also growing economically. There is a clear growth in different sectors which are clearly indicating that we are also, growing economically. So if these kind of transformational changes are happening, and if we have a strong population who is young, if we have a population actually who is ready to work, and if we have a technology adoption in the country, definitely it reflects the overall confidence for the whole world, and because of which, they are feeling that it's a right market to invest. And because basis which, one is the FDI flow, which is happening in India, and second is the startup funding which is coming to India. So that gives an overall reflection of the overall trust which the world is having on us. Digitization is another area which we keep talking about it. I'm purposely, touching a few topics, few areas, because the time is short, but I want to touch on few areas so that you get a reflection that how things are changing. In the name of digitization, if we see, the 5G rollout is happening in the country. Telcos are talking about in the next 1.5 years, the whole 5G rollout is going to happen in the country. And when the 5G rollout is happening, even though I would say before 5G rollout, the overall data consumption in India on our mobile is almost close to 30 GB per month. Just think about it, 30 GB is a huge data. And if you add both America consumption as well as the China consumption, our consumption is higher than both the countries put together. So 30 GB on a mobile is a huge consumption, and that too on the 4G. Just think about it, the data consumption which is going to happen on your mobile once the 5G rollout is happening, because 5G is bringing low latency, very high speed. And telcos are claiming that the speed can go up to 10x of the current speed. So just think about it, when the 5G rollout is happening, 5G rollout is bringing a lot of private network kind of a requirement. Just think about it, that till now we were discussing about there is a private cloud and a public cloud on the IT side, whereas now companies are talking about private network, meaning that if I have a manufacturing unit, I can have my own private network. And if I have my own private network, there is a need of compute shift from a data center to the edge. Meaning that if you have a retail outlet or if you have a manufacturing unit, the data computing is going to happen at the edge, meaning at the branch level, at the manufacturing unit level. It's not going to happen at the data center level. So that's the change. I'm just picking a few areas that how 5G rollout will bring a change on the compute side of the business. The 2021 Government of India published a data that close to 45 billion of transactions happened on the digital side. And in 2022, there is a rough estimate of close to 66 billion transactions. So just think about it, that if you are doing digital transactions on a mobile, which is in billions, and that is growing very fast. If the 5G rollout is happening and the compute start happening at the branch level, the compute start happening at the retail outlet level or at a manufacturing level, the kind of compute, and if the kind of compute is becoming so complex, so big, the kind of data consumption, the kind of handling of that data with the help of overall compute. So that's the kind of explosion, which is happening in India. So, I've heard that we are talking about the SMBs. The SMBs is a growth engine. SMBs are contributing close to 30% of the overall GDP. SMBs are growing. A couple of years back, one of our consultants did a study that in India still 90% of the SMBs are family-run businesses. And wherever next generation is joining, the technology adoption is growing significantly. Because the next generation is feeling that need of technology adoption. And we all are experiencing. So, there is one side of businesses which we are observing that which are traditional SMBs who are adopting technology but at a lower pace. And there are new age companies in the name of startups who are either born in cloud or they are born digitally, meaning that they are building up their business model basis technology only actually. So that's the two different set of SMBs in the country. I agree that both are growing, but the right side of the new businesses are growing at a much faster rate because they are adopting technology at a much faster rate actually. Few technology trends globally as well as in India which we are experiencing. So I'm just highlighting few of them. One is everything as a service. From Lenovo side, we did a study few months back across Asia Pacific where we did a study with close to 900 CIOs, technology heads of the organization, both from the large organization as well as from the smaller organizations. And there are a couple of areas which they highlighted, but one of the areas which they highlighted is that in next 12 months, they will definitely pick up at least one as a service. When I say as a service, meaning in the large enterprises as well as in the small enterprises, all the technology heads, they are no more interested to buy these devices or buy infrastructure for building up their data centers. They are saying that let me use this on a OPEX model, meaning that let me use it as a service because this is not my core responsibility. My core responsibility is if I'm a bank to run the banking part, if I'm a telecom company, my responsibility, my core business is to run the telecom, not to run the data centers, not to run the devices part. So that is changing, meaning that these CIOs are saying that let me outsource to the expert, whether it's a device or whether it's an infrastructure and whether it's a complex environment of data center. Because another observation is that during COVID, most of the companies actually they started moving towards cloud. When the billing started happening in the last few quarters, people started realizing that it's a hefty bill. Obviously that cloud gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of convenience, but when the bill started coming up, actually it's quite heavy bill. I can't afford it. It doesn't make sense for me to keep all my applications on the data center in the cloud. So they've started moving few of their applications towards on-premise data center, meaning that they've started building up their own data center also the way it used to be there earlier. Now that is creating complexity in the environment because you have a cloud data center as well as you have your own data center. How to manage that part? So these are few examples where CIOs are saying that let me outsource to experts so that those experts should help me to manage these kind of complexities. That is one trend which is happening. The second trend is happening is a circular economy. And instead of talking about externally, let me highlight a couple of examples of our own, that in Lenovo what we are doing is in the name of circular economy, we are taking back the old devices. And we are using the material or recycle that material to manufacture new laptops. Very soon, company is going to launch laptops which are being manufactured from a recycled material. So this is one of the area where we are also adding value on the name of sustainability, that when we are talking about sustainability, we are saving that material instead of cutting trees, whether it's related to the packaging or related to the different materials which is being used to manufacture a laptop. We have started doing the recycling part. Our internal goal for circular economy point of view, that 75% of our spare parts by 2025, which is 2 years later, will be from the old devices, which means that when we are picking up the old devices, we have started reusing these spare parts, which has a life remaining. So that's the way, this circular economy is going to perform. And that's the way, in Lenovo, we are trying to add value. We are trying to see that how can we utilize, how can we, instead of doing a landfilling activity, how can we start recycling that material? How can we start recycle those parts? Digitization for future, again, digitization is happening, as I was talking about, that technology adoption is happening. From digitization point of view, if you talk about a branch of a banking industry, so banking industry is looking at that how can lesser number of people should start approaching my branch. They are not looking at that how can I have a lesser number of calls. They are saying that how can I resolve the problem of the customer so that they don't have to call me. So that's the change. A few years back we were observing that a banking industry or a telecom industry or a different industries were working on that how can we reduce number of calls on my call center, or rather they were saying that how can I manage those calls in a stipulated time period. Now they are saying that why should a customer calls me up? How can I enable customers on their mobile only so that they can solve their requirements, their problems related to banking on their own actually. So that's the big change which is happening from the digitization point of view. The another area is that Web 3.0 or Industry 4.0, again it's a big topic, but one of the big change which is happening is that industries are now started using different technologies. One of the technology which I have seen in the area of manufacturing, that earlier, all of us were seeing that how can more and more people would be connected. But I would say that now most of us are having a mobile phone and we are connected on a real-time basis. Now all of us and each and every industry has started looking at it that how can each and every asset needs to be connected. Needs to be connected with the help of Internet of Things. So there is a technology called IoT, Internet of Things, where industries have started connecting assets. Meaning that if you are working in a manufacturing unit, any machine needs to be connected. Which means that any machine, if I am a operations manager of a plant, I should be able to see the productivity. I should be able to track the downtime. I should be able to do the proactive maintenance. So that's the big change, that now assets are getting connected, machines are getting connected, so that we should be able to use those machines in a very effective manner. We should be able to reduce the downtime. We should be able to save electricity. Because if the machine is not required, how can machine be shut down on its own, if nobody is using that machine, so that I should be able to save electricity. I was talking about the 5G rollout. The 5G rollout is happening in the country, and 5G rollout is not only bringing the latency part or the high speed. Just think about it, that how 5G rollout is now changing all of us life actually. From Lenovo side, we are launching a new technology called AR/VR. I'm saying AR/VR as a topic is not new to anyone, but the way this technology is changing, the way it's picking up. Again, example of whether it's a retail. In retail, today you go to a retail outlet to buy anything. For example, you go to a Lenovo's retail outlet to buy a laptop. Tomorrow, with the help of VR glasses, the store will start coming to you. Meaning that if you start wearing the glass of a Lenovo and a Lenovo guy is coming to you, you will be able to go and experience the store by wearing glasses only. And you can start doing your shopping. So that's the another example of that when we're talking about 5G rollout, how a VR technology is going to change. The VR technology, and I have seen that companies are investing big time on this. I have seen manufacturing companies. In the last week, we were there in Delhi, and we met a couple of manufacturing units, large companies I'm talking about, and they are saying that they have started doing a digital twin, meaning that they are converting their plant from a physical plant to a digital plant also. Meaning that obviously they have a physical plant, but now they are also creating a digital plant. So that with the help of AR, VR, they should be able to start using it. They should be able to start creating a lot of use case. And one of the use case, which one of the manufacturing unit was telling us that they have procured machines from Germany, and if there is a breakdown, they have to wait for the engineer to come and do the maintenance. Now with the help of digital twin, they are converting the whole factory into a digital factory, so that the engineer sitting in Germany should be able to help the local guy to repair the machine on a real-time basis. So that's the change, which 5G is going to bring. That's the change with this AR, VR technology is going to bring for these manufacturing units, or for a retail outlet, or for any, I'm saying builder, for example. You go to a builder to see the, the sample flat. Tomorrow with the help of VR glasses, the builder is going to come to your house and show you the flat. Or companies like IKEA is going to show it to you that how your kitchen should look like. Instead of, you are going there and imagining that how my kitchen is going to look like, whereas they will tell you on a real-time basis that how your kitchen should look like, so that you should be able to do the right shopping with the right color and the right fixtures. So that's the change, which this, whether we are calling it a 5G or a VR glasses or many other technology is changing. So I'm just basically talking about that how technology is bringing change in everybody's life. What Lenovo is doing in that front, actually. Obviously there's a huge change is happening when it comes to Lenovo, that how Lenovo is partnering for this kind of a growth. So Lenovo is helping our customers with the help of smart IoT. I've given you a couple of examples. Most of our devices which are now coming up and will come in future would be IoT enabled. And I've given you a couple of examples that how IoT is going to help to connect assets with the help of telecom companies. So these assets would, these devices now becoming more and more IoT enabled. So that is one big area. Smart infrastructure is another example. The infrastructure is becoming smarter. Infrastructure is also becoming very, very, I would say that when CIOs are buying infrastructure, meaning that CIOs are buying servers and storage, they are also looking at that how this servers and storage can help me to save electricity. I'm just giving one example. Now the new servers which are coming up from Lenovo sides, those servers are water cooled. They are coming with the water cooling technology. What does that mean? Meaning that the server, the kind of energy consumption, which server consumes in your data center. So if it is a water cooled technology, meaning it's a very simple technology that water is going inside the server. And it's creating a cooling effect, which means that the need of air conditioning is going down, which means that the electricity bill is coming down. So I'm just trying to make you understand in a very simple language that if we are talking about water-cooled technology for server, or we are talking about a smarter infrastructure, what does that mean for you if you are running your own business and you are trying to build your own data center? So that's the change in the name of smarter infrastructure. Smart vertical solutions, again, we have a lot of solutions from our side which are helping the need of the changing customer requirement, because customers are now operating in a very hybrid environment. Employees are operating from home, employees are coming to the office. But during COVID period, we have observed that most of the large organizations, they have surrendered a lot of their office space. Companies have surrendered up to 60% of their office space. Now when they're inviting their employees coming back, it is becoming a challenge to manage the infrastructure, because you have already surrendered 40%, 50%, 60% of your office, whereas now you're expecting 60%, 70%, 80% of your employees to be there in your office. How do you manage that part? So you need smarter tools to take care of that. You need, lockers, for example. You need a smarter lockers. Now, no more are those days where you're having your normal, standard, traditional almiras. You need a smarter locker. If you're running your airport operations, or if you're running a large call center, or even if you're running any office where the number of employees are more and employees are working in different shifts, you need lockers. You need, the conference room services. You need to manage the overall infrastructure of your devices as well as data center. Who's going to manage that part? So those are the changes in the name of vertical solutions, which Lenovo is bringing, so that we should be able to help our customers to manage their infrastructure, to manage their devices, to manage their overall office environment, to manage these kind of complexities, to manage their overall infrastructure from in a scenario where the employees are coming, and employees are coming with the infrastructure of only 40 to 50%. So those are the changes which we are bringing and helping our customers to manage those changes, to manage those complexities. In a nutshell, if I don't talk about Lenovo as an organization, we are a $70 billion company. In the country, we are trying to work in 3 different environments. We are working on building up devices. We are working on building up the overall infrastructure. As well as, we are also helping our customers with the help of our services. Large organization, I would say that from the global recognition point of view, last time actually we were being rated number 9 as far as the supply chain is concerned. And because of that kind of efficiency, now we have reached to a stage where we are supplying almost 4+ devices every second. So that's the kind of scale, which we have built up, and the scale is available in India. We have started manufacturing in India. We have started manufacturing PC. We have started manufacturing tablet, as well as we are also manufacturing the smart mobile phones under our the brand of Motorola. So that's the change. That's the technology which Lenovo is bringing, and if that's the way that Lenovo is helping our customers to manage the overall complexities. So thank you so much. Actually, in case you have any questions, Lenovo team is available to answer any kind of questions for you, to help you guys to manage these kind of complexities in your organization also. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sehgal. May I request you to kindly stay on the stage? Thank you so much for those wonderful insights and taking us through all the great work undertaken by Lenovo India. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Mr. Ashok Bindra, Director Response North, the Times of India group to join Mr. Sehgal on the stage and felicitate our keynote speaker of the day who will be joining us shortly on the stage. We'd like to welcome you. Ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me immense delight to invite our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Rajesh Magao. He's the co-founder and Group Chief Executive Officer of Make My Trip Limited, India's leading online travel company. A believer of India's digital opportunity and a backer of many young Indian tech companies, Rajesh is passionate about transforming business, leveraging technology to create disproportionate value for customers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rajesh Magao. Well, this is a beautiful photo opportunity. All smiles for the camera, and like they say, the smiles get broader when you put your hands together. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. All right. I think in the previous presentation, by the way, the stage was set very, very nicely in terms of just continuing with the theme of the evening, right? You know, the theme of the evening is technology and innovations. And I think it was beautifully covered with all the macro points and the trends and the global trends of where this technology is going to go. In the coming decade or two or more, and also the fact that India would be in a leading position with that, right? And the other thing that I was enjoying as part of the presentation was also that, you know, from our point of view, which is the core part of our business, and we'll talk about it, is actually fully, you know, entirely powered by technology. And we've been actually a big believer at Make My Trip of this technology decade, not necessarily the coming decades, but for the last couple of decades as well, right? So I quite sort of, you know, enjoyed that part of the presentation, that, you know, technology has evolved significantly. And just building on, you know, where you would have heard that, you know, future is going to be bright, maybe supremely powered by technology. It's going to probably touch every possible aspect of our life. It has evolved significantly and very fast and rapidly evolving. Let us also take a sneak peek into how it has evolved in the last couple of decades as well. That is going to be the theme of you know, my presentation here. You know, just sharing the learning experiences over the last 2 decades, how we have seen technology evolving tremendously over the last couple of decades. All right, just to introduce Make My Trip very quickly. You know, hopefully everyone is aware and everyone is customer and using Make My Trip. I really, really hope so. How many of you are using Make My Trip as a customer? Fantastic. So I love that. So you are already aware of, you know, the consumer side of Make My Trip, and as we go deep into the presentation, I am actually going to show you what is there behind the scene, and you know how technology plays a massive role in terms of what you see on the front end, which is like super convenient and super intuitive and so on. But just to quickly introduce Make My Trip's current state of affairs today, you know, we are, you know, you can call us pioneer in the internet technologies, because we started business in India in 2000, actually All Fools Day, April 1, 2000, coming up, you know, soon as well. And over 2 decades, and at that point in time, and we are talking about a different level of technology era today, at that point in time, the digital space, the digital ecosystem was extremely, extremely nascent, right? And that is the time that we started the .com. People were scared of setting up the .com. And you know, sure enough, we also realized right after setting up in 2000 that we were early in the game. We were not necessarily, you know, sort of, we did not have the ecosystem that was even the basic infrastructure and the ecosystem that was required to run the digital business. Whether it was a payment infrastructure or it was a telecom, which means bandwidth infrastructure, or it was just also the consumer behavior, the devices, all of that was not necessarily, at that stage. So we clearly were ahead of our game. And therefore, from 2000 to 2005, we ended up doing nothing effectively. We just, I don't know how, but we survived. Just on the back of maybe US-India corridor business, basic technology, Western world was already developed. They knew the model. We didn't have to sell it to the Western world. We just somehow focused on, bringing non-resident Indians from US to India, just operating on a hybrid fashion, website on the US, in the US, and having a call center back at Okhla Phase 1 in the mezzanine floor. That is how the technology, the state of technology or the digital technology or the ecosystem was back then between 2000 to 2005. 2006 onwards, it started evolving and we sort of never looked back. And as I fast forward and come to today, the Make My Trip today is a travel super app. Now, when I say super app is a very fancy, very fashionable word, where super app word was, I think we borrowed that from China because a lot of the businesses, the horizontal platforms were trying to, use as one consumer hook, and most of the cases it was payments, and use that to build the user base, and then on top of that, build different use cases, like hundreds of use cases. Like, Paytm is a good example of that in India. PhonePe is a good example of that in India, Google Pay to some extent, and so on. And over the years, then they started realizing that how do we sort of, start focusing on our core business, whether it is going to be financial services business for horizontal platforms, or it is going to be some other business in terms of just building the core business, not necessarily only the user base. From our point of view, strategically what was very clear was, in our mind, that we are a tech-led business, for sure, and I will talk more about that, but we will stay focused on travel as a line of business. Now, within the travel, we will also make sure that every possible travel use case, we will pick it up. Not necessarily every possible core travel use case, but also the ancillary products that come along with it. And that is what you see right on the top, that all the possible travel use cases today we are catering to, and therefore we are saying that within the travel domain, which happens to be a vertical, we would be a super app today. That is how it has evolved, over the last, I would say, okay, if you want to discount the first 5 years, maybe about 16, 17 years, and rapidly. And the other aspect of our business today is that we've got multiple fronts, multiple brands. Make My Trip, GoIbibo, Redbus, Red Rail, a few B2C brands, and all of them are sort of doing quite well, having their own sort of differentiated offerings from consumer point of view. In consumer's mind, there is place for every brand. And then on the other hand, which is the development for the last 3-4 years, that multiple platforms that we invested behind, actually a lot of the credit I give it to the COVID period, hugely challenging period for the travel industry. But the silver lining for us was that a lot of the resources became idle because the business wasn't really happening. So we deployed all the resources and say, what should we do? Why don't we start investing behind to keep ourselves future ready? And that is when we just accelerated the pace of building many platforms. MyBiz for corporate segment. We built My Partner for travel agents. We had an API platform that we built where we ended up powering some of these horizontals for travel. We built our mini fintech platform called Trip Money, and so on. And this is what you see, holistically, the Make My Trip group looks like. All right, let's just go into the history and the evolution part of it. Okay, I purposely actually put this busy slide here, one keeping in mind the theme of the evening, but more importantly to also give you a sneak preview of what goes behind the scene on building this kind of business that you see it on the front end. And this is the current state of our travel or tech stack which is enabling travel business. And you would realize that there is so much, and and I'm sure that in this audience, many people will be able to relate with this. This has evolved over the years. This has, fundamentally 4 pillars of engineering, which, because of the fact that we are an intermediary platform, two-sided marketplace, one side we've got supply, and the other side we've got demand segments. So the customers and supplies, when we'll be bringing them together on every front end possible. But how do we make sure that whatever we are rendering on the front end, from an experience standpoint, is nothing less than stellar? This is what happens behind the scene. From the scalable, robust, reliable tech stack, which sort of evolves over the period of time, whether it is to do with content or it is to do with infra for reliability, stellar performance, security, building trust for the consumers, or having the data science and the data first aggregation, and then building science and then engineering capability on top of it, then building use cases on top of it, and I'll talk about some of them, and the user management. On top of it, you will have common platforms. On top of that, there's an intelligent layer, and what you see it on the top is how it sort of gets serviced to all the front-end platforms. Now, whether they are B2C dedicated platforms or on the supply side partners platform, or there are B2B2C platforms. This is the backbone. This is really the most important IP behind this business. We happen to be in the travel business. A lot of people, by the way, will relate us with saying Make My Trip because it's a travel domain and it's a travel company and so on. It is actually a technology company, just happens to be in travel business. And because of the reason I just explained it to you, this is where 1,000 engineers work day in and day out. Okay. Having understood the sort of fundamental backbone of the business, let us just now see how the overall technology that we've seen evolving over the years. The first disruption, I'm sure some of you might be able to relate with this, and it was a massive disruption, by the way, that happened in the market, in the technology domain, was the internet access device, specifically on internet technologies. The internet access device predominantly, and it's not that it is completely sort of gone away. I'm mindful of the fact that Lenovo is still selling laptops because laptops are still relevant. But from a consumer point of view, the access divide, which happens to be smartphone 24/7 handy, from a desktop arena, it moved completely to mobile, right? And so much so, just to give you a stat to make this point, about 85% of our bookings happen on mobile platform today. It wasn't even existing 10 years ago, 11 years ago. It wasn't even existing. When we started the business, it was completely desktop-led business. And the point I'm trying to also, or the reason why I'm trying to also highlight this disruptive evolution is also because from an engineering standpoint, from a technology standpoint, it was a nightmare on two fronts. The talent that was there, that was qualified, competent, skilled, only to render all the front-end sort of components more on the bigger device, bigger real estate. Suddenly, that real estate that was available for all the engineers from a front-end perspective got reduced and became this tiny. And therefore, the talent was not available. You had to actually train. The new talent was not available because all these devices brought in the native technologies, native experience behind it. Whether it was an Apple operating system or an Android operating system, and before that, believe it or not, even BlackBerry. And we, from our point of view, and I think that's an important point, if there is, one has to keep in mind from a technology-led business standpoint, or if there is any business who's trying to adopt technology, that once you get into it, or if you are leading the business from technology standpoint, it's such a dynamic world that you have to keep yourself abreast with the latest all the time. and stay ahead of the curve. And this is one example where I can tell you our first app was built on BlackBerry. Because we had started, we saw this coming early, this trend, and it was not supposed to be a small change. It was supposed to be a massive disruption. That's exactly it played out. And we started investing behind, and the first device that was available and was popular back then, which is obviously not necessarily a great word, completely died. But we invested behind and we built our first app on BlackBerry and we tested. And then it evolved into Android and iOS, and the rest is history. And it'll continue to keep evolving, right? So this was a massive disruption that happened, and it can happen. Suddenly, it can disrupt your business significantly if you are not necessarily keeping pace with it. All right, move on. The customer experience journey, given that we are in a B2C business predominantly, right? So what is very important from our point of view to stay in the business, stay in the leadership position, is to continuously keep improving the customer experience. We have seen customer experience, again powered by technology, like Squarely, has evolved and improved significantly or changed significantly from where we started and from where we are today. Yeah, and some of these screenshots that you would see, and these are the front-end screenshots. It started with a very basic stuff. Well, hindsight, now when you look back, it looks like a pretty basic stuff. Back then, it was revolution, right, in many ways. It was selection, it was basic functionality, and it was also customer's convenience. And it looked revolutionary at that point in time because the alternative was very painful. Alternative to book a rail ticket was extremely painful, standing in the queues. Alternative to book flight tickets was quite painful, and also was not transparent. It was quite opaque. So the first change that happened, suddenly the power went into the hand of the consumers on a particular device, whether it was a desktop or a laptop or a mobile phone. It was really, really received very well, right? Because it was addressing some of the real pains in the market. But how it has evolved over the years is what you see. It's some of the screenshots on the right-hand side. It has come to a point now where data at the core of it, and artificial intelligence and machine learning, latest technologies that are being used to power the customer experience today. So let me give you a few examples. So there are few products that we have launched recently. They're all live, and you can see that when you do the booking next, and some of you might have already experienced it, like a fare lock. Now, the price lock or a fare lock is not the product that airline is offering. It could only become possible because we had tons of data in the history of all the buyers on our platform, and using all that data, building the data science modeling on that, and leveraging the AI and ML technologies, coming up with the model and coming up with the product, which is a great value proposition for the consumer, that if because the fares are pretty dynamic in nature, if you end up buying this product, there will be a price tag attached to this product. It won't be very expensive, but if you end up buying that, your price will get frozen, right? And you don't really have to then worry about the dynamic or the volatility in the pricing going forward. It's quite popular product, actually, especially for international market. It's also actually getting traction in the domestic market as well, because even domestic market fare regime has been pretty volatile of late. Similarly, there's a product called Trip Guarantee. Now, Trip Guarantee is a product based on massive pain area in railway bookings, for example. IRCTC, by the way, for the longest time, never used to distribute through the OTAs. Now, the innovations are happening that the moment they started distributing through OTAs as well. OTAs is online travel agency companies, which is, powered by technology. And we thought about this and we said, okay, there's again massive data that we already have, and we can build a model of probability-based model, that what are the chances of this particular rate, this particular route on a train ticket that will get confirmed on waitlist. Waitlist is a big pain area, as we all know, in the railway booking, right? It is such a delight of a product. into tier 3, tier 4 cities, and people are building perception and thinking that this product, Make My Trip has this product of trip guarantee, and the way it works is that we will guarantee the waitlist booking. If it does not get confirmed, we'll give you 2x or 3x, and with that money, with the additional money, you can just maybe choose an alternative mode of transport. Maybe you can actually take an Udan sector flight also, or you can choose a bus or any other mode of transport. And the perception that is there out in the market about this product, because they saw the value of this product and they were loving it as consumers, and quote unquote, I'm telling you, is that Make My Trip must have some serious blocks that they have bought from the railways, and because of which they are able to promise the guarantee. None of that is true, because we don't have anything, and then, with IRCTC, you can't even, remotely have that kind of an arrangement. So all of this is powered by technology at the back end. And it is only possible, very workable product, very high customer value, and so on. So likewise, there are other like fare calendar, or even, sort of tracking the track alert. Again, I was talking about fare volatility. If you can set up an alert as soon as the fare change happens, and we keep getting that input from our tightly integrated sort of feed with the suppliers or the partners at the back end, you will get an alert, and it will help you take the decision that the fare is going up, going low. Depending upon the alert, that you can easily choose the booking. If I continue with this, and give you a few more examples and how suddenly the customer experience on the front end has changed, again, powered by technology at the back end, powered by data at the back end, all cutting edge technologies. And here are a few examples on that. You can see on the screen, one of the second screen shot here is the map view of a very sort of emerging trend, an emerging consumer trend, and partly again it happened due to COVID, as the business or the travel was recovering. In the middle of COVID, after wave 1 or wave 2, people started going to take breaks, short breaks, and the nearby destination. We call that product as staycations. They will just very impulsively decide that let's just take a break and go to the nearby destination within 250 kilometer driving distance. And we said, okay, let us just look at now solving for this particular need of consumers in a much better way, and giving it so that they can take an informed decision. And that is where, for every sort of metro country, possible metro city, possibly 10, 15 of them, not necessarily all the metro, maybe the next level of cities as well, and map the 250 kilometer radius. If let's say Delhi has got like 3 states attached to it, you can actually step out on the UP side, you can go to the Rajasthan, you can go to Punjab, and cover all of that and show the data to the consumers for them to be able to take the informed decision in a view which is very, very intuitive, very, very friendly to eyes, right? That is, very recently that we sort of launched and worked out very well. The other example that I can share with you, again, enhancing the customer experience to a completely different level. Inherently, we were a transaction site. If you will go to on our platform, you will see a widget. So we will simply ask you the input, where are you coming from and where do you want to go? And then based on that, you put your date, etc. You will get your flight search, you will get your hotel search results, and so on. So very transactional in nature. We thought that we should also look at one step before. When person is thinking about planning a trip, and we didn't really. We had content, but we had content very in a transactional flow, right? So and that is where our product called Where to Go was born. The killer app in that product was not necessarily curated content. A lot of curated content there, very high level, very high quality content, and I'll come to what is next, where there was a reference on Web 3.0, etc. How are we thinking about, let's say, metaverse powering some of that? I'll come to that in a minute. But right now, the killer app there is that it is powered by a lot of user-generated content. User-generated content around as the people are traveling, our customers are traveling to various destinations, their experiences, their photographs, all the, the content that they would like to post, which would be very helpful for people to take the decision. I think, and it obviously enhances the customer experience if you think about it. Similarly, a couple of other examples. I think I must mention, the next level of growth from a technology standpoint, from a technology adoption standpoint, not necessarily only with small and medium enterprises, as we were talking about in the previous presentation as well, but also from consumer point of view. See, we already have about 800 million internet users. The internet users have reached to, excuse me, have reached to, semi-urban, deep Bharat, pretty much every city. But they are all, or majority of them, are just consuming more the social, media sort of content, right? Whether it is the chat option, thank you so much. Whether it is the WhatsApp, or it is, let's say, Facebook, or it is, TikTok historically, not anymore, and so on. Not all of them are doing any kind of commerce activity on any of the e-commerce platforms. I think that is the big opportunity, big growth opportunity next level, and which is where a lot of the e-commerce platforms are focusing on. And with that in mind, and we firmly believe that, there's a gap of, by the way, just to give you the number, 800 million internet users, there are about 150 million, if that, are actually buying online. On a regular basis, if you discount grocery, they might actually be 75 to 100 million only. So imagine, and I would say out of 800 million, remove 300 million, because the disposable income might not be there. But then there is a headroom from 100 million odd or 150 million to at least next 100 million, and then you can go to about 500 million. That's the kind of opportunity that is there for the businesses to grow on the online platforms. With that in mind, we started building a vernacular content. So the vernacular flow, and we've been testing this in the market. We are live with flights, we're live with hotels on Hindi and Tamil. And just to make one important point here, some of these technology interventions that you end up doing, not necessarily all of them are going to succeed. It is a journey. You will continue to keep getting insights, you will bring them back, and then keep fine-tuning your product. And multilingual front-end flow is a very good example of that. Across the board on e-commerce platforms, pretty much everyone has sort of ventured into this because everyone thinks that this could be a game changer or could be a big driver to get the next level of growth. But from a consumer adoption standpoint, we are still struggling. So we are already back to the drawing board on thinking that can we now combine this with, sort of voice inputs as well. So vernacular, but voice, and that is sort of in the works. So, and that I think is a good example of, again, just taking the power of technology to a completely different level to make sure that we are able to sort of cater to every possible segment in the country. Okay, moving on. Here are a few examples. We talked about, the sales examples, right? On the front end, customers are coming and booking and all of that. What is equally important in our business is also the servicing part of it. Huge amount of evolution that has happened, by the way, on the servicing side as well. So once I have sold any product or service, how do I take care of servicing side of it very, very efficiently and elegantly from a consumer point of view? Again, making sure that the convenience is not compromised. It has evolved significantly from a call center assistance to self-service mode. Now, because you have the device, and I think there's the power of device is playing out here. That device, tiny device, you also use to call the call center if you have to go for a service request. The same device, if we are able to provide all the possible information, all the use cases, where you can address all those concerns, where he's going to call and ask those questions, and the other side will get some answers. Sometimes you will not get the answers, and then we all know the world could be, there could be many gaps in that sort of ecosystem. You could do it on a click of a button today. And everybody is very used to doing that on a click of a button. In the desktop world, we could not solve this. But in the smartphone world, we are able to move and do massive transition with a delight for the customer to not necessarily ask for service request on phone, but do it yourself on your device, because that is handy with you in any case, and you're pretty used to it. That is how the evolution has happened on the post-sale side. Okay, what's next? And then maybe we can open it up for questions. And these two are familiar logos, right? You know, the metaverse and the chat GPT. You know, I think everybody is sort of talking about it. I'm sure you would have played with it. I mean, mostly might be getting very interesting, wow kind of results. Some cases I've seen when I played with it, there are inaccuracies as well. But that's not really the point. The point is that in the search engine market, this could potentially be a game changer because of the way the data is being used, leveraged, and presented in the form of whatever query that you might have. The important point on some of these cutting-edge technologies is, you know, and this is learning over the years from our point of view, is not necessarily getting carried away with the hype of the new technology that is coming up, right? What is important is that how do you start analyzing, studying, researching the technology deeper for you to be able to see what are the possible use cases or the application of those technologies which are relevant in the context of your business. What is that you will do to enhance the customer experience, for instance, further? Or what is that new cutting-edge technology could do which would possibly move the needle for your business impact, right? That is the philosophy that we have followed in Make My Trip over the years, and I think I would say, you know, with a great degree of confidence that it has worked so far. With that thought, I'll tell you what we are thinking on ChatGPT or on Metaverse. I think we spoke about, you know, AR, VR, you know, and there was massive amount of hype, by the way, during COVID, and people started saying that, you know, maybe travel would get completely disrupted with this technology where people would experience the destination just sitting at home, just wearing those glasses. Now, see when the business has recovered, right? You know, and our view at that point in time was that the travel is best experienced when you are into it, when you are visiting physically, when you are watching it, not necessarily experiencing it on the screen with, you know, whatever might be the level of, you know, quality of the video, right? Whether it is augmented reality or virtual reality glasses. However, the interesting use case for us was, can we inspire people using this technology? And that is what I was talking about when Where to Go section was there, when I was talking about that, powered by user-generated content or curated content, that is the place where we are going to use this technology and inspire people to get sort of excited about various destinations. So you create the inspiration, you create the excitement, and then people would actually go and experience you know, a particular destination when they decide to travel. That is the way to sort of think about it, that what is the possible application or the use case for a particular technology that you would want to implement and use it. I mean, you know, there were a couple of real estate examples, very apt examples that were given earlier, right? Similarly, on ChatGPT, this is exactly the way we are thinking. So we are, you know, as we speak, there is sort of hackathon set up in the organization to look at 2 or 3, and I won't talk about that. Let us just have the proof of concept and we be ready with that, and then we will come out with that. There are 3 possible use cases that we've seen that could help us, that this technology could help us in our business. And we are already sort of working towards that. And we clearly see, and one of them has been very, at a sample data set level has been tested, and it's showing quite interesting and exciting results. So, you know, these are the 2 latest one. Before that, there was blockchain. Again, I was making the point on don't get carried away with the hype, but don't ignore it either. Just go deeper and study and focus on the applications. All right. That is where I would end. And screen is showing me times is up. I would just say that we've been very, very happy so far. The journey has been pretty exciting all the time, but best is yet to come. All right? Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much, and we truly believe that the best is yet to come. Thank you so much once again. Yes, and absolutely is around. If you have any questions, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to take them offline. And I must mention that your presentation has actively led to a lot of thought-provoking conversations, which will begin at the end of this. Thank you once again, and thank you for inspiring us and paving the way for more credible and innovative brands out of India. Technology definitely seemed to have played a pivotal role in the travel and tourism industry for sure. We've all enjoyed the services of Make My Trip over the last decade and a half. Thank you once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up is an interesting fireside chat with a renowned industry veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Sujit John, the editor of Times Techies, the Times of India, to host a fireside chat with our esteemed speaker. Let's welcome the gentleman with a huge round of applause. He's also the deputy resident editor of the Times of India, Bangalore. He's been with Times of India for over 27 years, spending over 22 years focusing on covering business and technology. He launched Times Techies in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, with all the love in the room and with a huge round of applause, let's welcome the gentleman on the stage. The theme of today's fireside chat is Indian businesses, how to be future ready to handle tech disruptions. Now, it indeed is my deep pleasure to invite our esteemed speaker, Ms. Debjani Ghosh, on the stage. Ms. Debjani Ghosh is the president of NASSCOM since April 2018. An industry veteran, she's the 5th president of NASSCOM and the first woman at the helm in its 3-decade history. I want you all to give her a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. In January 2018, she was felicitated by the President of India under the auspices of the First Lady program, which honors exceptional women pioneers in their respective fields. In 2020, she has been honored by the Vogue as the Tech Leader of the Year 2020. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. Over to you, Sujit, for an exciting chat.
Thank you. First, we started almost 30 minutes late. Debjani had a 8 p.m. hard stop. So sorry, but Debjani has adjusted to some extent.
We'll do a rapid fire.
Okay. To make up for that, allow me to flatter you a little. And I sincerely believe this. I think you are leading one of the greatest movements in modern India. And when I say this, I don't know how it is in Delhi, but I live in Bangalore, and the excitement that I see in technology is unbelievable. IT services, of course, I mean, I remember a few years ago, people like Vivek Wadhwa writing off Indian IT services, saying cloud computing, etc., is going to destroy them, da-da-da-da. And yet here they are, growing in well into double digits, gaining market share around the world, thriving. Startups, yes, some stutter because of some funding issues now, but so many startups doing such phenomenal deep tech work. And one of the most exciting are the companies that you were previously in Intel. I mean, the kind of MNC technology centers that are coming into India, the kind of work that is happening in India. I mean, we meet a lot of these CEOs and CXOs who come down to Bangalore. The great things they say about India is unbelievable, the kind of talent we have, and more of these centers coming up. You coined the term, or NASSCOM coined the term, India's decade. I seriously believe, I mean, of course, I saw Ajay mentioning it, I saw Rajesh mentioning it, that same term, Prime Minister Modi has mentioned it. India's decade. Tell us, I mean, what do you foresee in the next, in this decade, in the coming years? How is technology going, how is India going to influence technology for the world?
Well, thanks, Sujit, and always great to talk to you and great to be here. In 2019, when we were debating the future and what the next 10 years would be, the role of technology and the increasing role of technology in every aspect of business and life was not even a question. That was a given, we knew it. But there was a new factor that got introduced into the thinking. And that factor was time is running out. Time is absolutely running out for us to solve some of the most critical challenges that are facing humanity and facing our planet, whether it's climate crisis, food crisis, water crisis. And when you apply the technology lens to these big problems, you realize that for the first time, you actually have the power in your hands to solve for some of these biggest challenges. We didn't have that before, but we do. And I think the UN called it brilliantly, and that was the inspiration for the term decade. The UN said that we have to move from the era of innovation to the era of action, where technology has to, the potential of technology has to become a reality. Technology has to solve problems. So we, as we were debating the future, we said, this is going to be the era, this is going to be the decade when we will see technology being used in ways that we have never seen before. Every aspect will not only be redefined by technology, but I think every aspect will be completely disrupted by technology, opening up new opportunities and risks for pretty much every sector out there. And that's where the term decade came from, because this decade is going to be completely defined not by technology, but by our ability to use technology to basically save humanity, if I may put it that way, but to create a better planet.
I mean, we saw that with Aadhaar, we saw that with UPI. I think India is now building something around health, I mean, saving humanity, you mentioned, the health stack happening. I mean, I guess these are some of these really huge projects that can really change things for humanity.
I mean, you look at the way technology is, at the same time ChatGPT came out, there was another big tech news that broke. How many of you caught that? Anyone in the room caught that? There was a huge tech news that broke the same week ChatGPT came out.
Which one?
Anyone? It was cancer cure. They were the first time they had used technology this was a 13 or 14-year-old girl, I think in UK, if I'm not wrong, but they had found a cure for her cancer using technology, which was such a huge news. Unfortunately, it got lost in the hype of ChatGPT. But technology, when used right, can solve for, can find solutions for health, can find solutions for building equitable access to resources, whether food, water, education, etc., can of course solve for the climate crisis, must solve for the climate crisis. So there's so much that it can do. And this is where the India advantage becomes amazing, right? Because what do you need? Today, technology is getting democratized. Everyone has access to technology. What is creating the difference? It's the people. It's the digital mastery. It's our ability to use technology. Whoever can use technology to solve for bigger problems is going to win. Whether you think of it from a company perspective or you think of it from a country perspective. Everything depends on your ability to use technology better than your competition and faster, of course. And that's where the India story gets tremendously exciting, because the talent exists here. You know, if you look at just artificial intelligence, India today, when you look at overall spending on AI, India accounts for 1% of global spend on AI. But we account for more than 15% of the AI talent. And it's growing. That's the magic, right? The talent is our biggest competitive advantage, and the ability to quickly innovate, which is what we are seeing in our startup ecosystem, right? Which is coming out with so many different solutions that's building on Aadhaar. Nandan created Aadhaar, but imagine if the ecosystem had not fired. The success of Aadhaar, he created the highway, but then you need cars to run on the highway. And that's where the startups and the tech industry has been brilliant in how they have come together to create that ecosystem to build on Aadhaar and create the digital public good infrastructure, to create the India stack and create the services around it. And I think that's going to be tremendously disruptive.
You mentioned talent. I mean, today's Times Techies, the lead story, my colleague from Pune wrote it, but it was about how many of, I'm sure most of members of NASSCOM are supporting this initiative. Zilla Parishad students being trained in coding, and they are saying those students, once they learn a little bit, it's amazing what they can do. So, I mean, just shows what you said about the talent that India has. I think the coding culture is going deep into India's heartlands.
I think we need a problem-solving culture, not a coding culture.
No, so that was exactly the point that also was made. Most of these training courses are focusing on problem-solving.
Yes.
And those students are being, they are being encouraged to think of problems that they can solve with programming and coding, yes. Here we have an audience of SMBs, most of them. Give us an idea, I mean, how much technology are they using today? What is the general trend that you see, and what are the opportunities that they have with technology?
I think everyone is using technology today because your customers are demanding. You have to. Your customers, RFPs are calling out today that they need digital solutions. So I think it doesn't matter whether you're in health or manufacturing or retail, but if you're not using technology today, you're going to be left behind. I mean, technology, the simplest use of technology, it boosts productivity. It's one of the most effective productivity booster. So it's no more how much, but it is how fast. Are they able to keep up with not just their competition in India, but their global competition? I think that's becoming important. Secondly, it's no more just about using technology. It's about your carbon footprint. I mean, today, if you look at global RFPs, whether it's big or small, it's not just about your solution and the innovation quotient of your solution, but people are also asking about your sustainability plans. People are asking about your carbon zero roadmap, right? So as SMEs, I think the digital transformation is a must. It's already happening. Roughly around half of Indian SMEs are already on the cloud. And we are hoping that the other half will move fast as they reinvent their business. But the two issues with respect to digital transformation of SMEs, one is access to talent. It's a big challenge. It's a huge challenge, even though India has
in the sense of what? Why? Not good enough talent available, expensive, what is it?
See, today, the talent that the tech industry needs is, the biggest skill required there is problem solving, adaptability, trainability, communications, etc., right? The core tech skills can be taught, right? I don't think our education system does a good enough job of building these basic skills, as we call it, or character building skills, as we call it. And I'm hoping the new education policy will fix that. But there's a huge problem because even for the large companies, when you hire, you have to invest a lot on building the employability gap. SMEs find that very difficult to do, right? And therefore, they're looking at, rather than hiring freshers, which is still very affordable, they're mostly looking at hiring from the experienced pool, which is not that affordable and it's shrinking. Right? So I think there is a talent problem that SMEs face, at least the ones that the tech SMEs that we interact with. Second is figuring out how to build a technology roadmap that pretty much weaves into your overall business strategy versus becoming a silo IT department responsibility. That is the worst mistake that you can make. And I think that's something that a lot of SMEs are struggling to figure out. How do you weave it into your overall business strategy?
Okay. Cloud and SaaS solutions, how much does that help SMEs quickly get onto
well, it's not just cloud. SaaS helps a lot, and it's not just cloud, but even now, today, there are programs like low-code, no-code that is coming up. Technology is getting easier to use, and it's getting more and more affordable, right? But I think what matters is how do you weave it into your overall plan? How do you reinvent your business with technology from your from your product design to your customer engagement? How do you build in the technology stack or technology layer, just as the previous speaker showed? How do you build a technology stack that will completely disrupt your business and give you that productivity increase right across? And that's the level of thinking. For example, we have some centers of excellence across India that actually work with SMEs to help them understand that and help them understand how they can build technology into their overall plan. And it is difficult at first. It is very, very difficult. But then once they start seeing the benefit, then it accelerates significantly.
Okay. I think we are almost out of time. And Debjani also has to go. Quick, anybody has a question for Debjani? One question we might be able to take.
I think we're between dinner and...
Yeah. So I guess people are waiting for dinner. So thanks. I really believe, I think NASSCOM is really leading a major movement today. I think we are literally in the middle of a great transformation journey.
So if I may, I'll just give some facts and figures for the tech industry to tell everyone how real the tech potential of India is. So today we are a 245 billion tech industry overall, right, including startups and everything else. This industry, from the time it started, took 15 years to hit the first 100 billion. In these 3 years of the decade, as we call it, we've already crossed 50 billion, right? So that's the pace of growth. You look at startups, you look at the way, I'm not a fan of the unicorn term. I believe that startups should create value, not valuation. You look at startups and you see the kind of work the startups are doing. When COVID happened, who were the companies that pivoted to create all the supplies that doctors in India needed? It were the startups, right? So the agility of the startups is just fascinating. India today is the #1 hub for any kind of global capability center investments, be it R&D or be it back office. We are the preferred hub across the world, and that is growing phenomenally. And then you look at the adoption of technology in India. The first speaker had a lot of numbers, but can any of you imagine living your life without your phone or without the apps on the phone? Today, we are just, I mean, the funniest thing was I was in US recently and I was in the Capitol. speaking to a lot of their administrative folks, and they were all talking about, at that point, the COVID vaccine. And someone had lost their COVID vaccine certificate and was saying, this is going to be such a headache, figuring out how to get it. And just for effect, I took out mine. I did have a printout, and I tore it in front of them. And they were like, what did you just do? How will you go back to India? And then thankfully it all worked. I took my phone, I went into COVID, and I downloaded my certificate in like 5 minutes. And the folks in US had never seen anything like that. And that's the power of in India, right? And I absolutely believe that, honestly, and this you guys can hold me accountable, but by the end of this decade, the I in innovation will stand for India.
Wow.
Mark my words on that.
Thank you so much, Devjani. That was a wonderful aspect. Thanks a lot.
And on
I
that
know
note,
I think there's a memento.
yes, may I request you to kindly remain on the stage as I invite Mr. Ajay Iyer, Senior Vice President, The Times of India, to join us on the stage and to have a token of appreciation for Ms. Devjani. Thank you, Ms. Devjani, for an insightful perspective on being future-ready with tech in the front and center of all innovations. I'm sure that the audience had a lot of takeaways from you. Thank you so much once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up, we have a stellar panel from multiple industries to engage all of us in a thought-provoking session. The theme for the panel discussion is technologies to accelerate business growth, perspectives from tech leaders. Our panelists have been an inspiration for the work that they've done and their invaluable contributions and impact to our society. Ladies and gentlemen, it indeed is my deep pleasure to welcome on the stage Mr. Marut Singh, Chief Technology Officer, Cars 24. Mr. Singh is a highly accomplished technology leader with over 2 decades of experience in the industry. As the CTO of Cars 24, he's been instrumental in driving the company's growth and success, leveraging his extensive expertise in software development, product management, and technology strategy. Mr. Singh's impressive career trajectory includes senior technology leadership roles at some of the world's leading companies, including Yahoo, Adobe, and Myntra. At each of these organizations, he demonstrated a deep understanding of technology trends and a passion for leveraging cutting-edge tools and technologies to drive business success. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Singh with a huge round of applause. Joining the panel is Mr. Gaurav Bagga, Chief Technology Officer, Pristine Care. He has over 14 years of experience and is currently the SVP Product and Engineering at Pristine Care, a Gurgaon-based healthcare unicorn. In his current role, he demonstrates expertise in technology, vision, and strategy, sensing and scaling emerging technologies. An experienced product and technology leader, Gaurav has worked in the past with renowned brands including CIBC, HSBC, and Paytm Labs in big data, cloud AWS, and GCP. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to all of you, Mr. Bagga. And completing the panel, we have Mr. Praful Podar, Chief Product Officer, ShipRocket, India's leading tech-enabled logistics and fulfillment platform. And in his current role, he spearheads product development efforts while contributing to the platform's vision of bringing industry-first products to cater to user needs. He comes with over 15 years of rich experience, and he has held senior management roles at multiple distinguished organizations, including Deloitte, Snapdeal, and OLX Group. He also has been a consultant to the Ministry of Railways for a brief period, and he's received several awards and recognitions for his valuable contributions, ladies and gentlemen, including winning the Global Innovation Award from NASPER's Process, an achievement that remains close to his heart to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our panelists with a huge round of applause. I would now like to call upon Mr. Sujit on the stage once again. Over to you, Sujit.
delay has caused multiple problems. I think Marut also has a hard stop. So I'll let you go. If 8:45 you said? Yeah? Okay. Thanks so much to all of you for coming. Marut, let me start with you. My son was buying a second-hand car the other day, and I could see him. Cars 24 was, of course, one of the things that he was looking at. What he finally chose, I don't know. But tell me, I mean, do a pre-owned car business like this. What are the kind of technologies that went behind it? How much of AI and all do you use? How much of personalization do you use?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much to your son for being a Cars 24 customer. It always is a great feeling. So when we started as a company, right, we started with a very simple concept that people who wanted to sell their car were not able to get the right price. Now, what is right price, right? Right price of a pre-owned item is determined by the demand, right? How much people are ready to pay for it. There was no standardization available in the market. There was no facility available in the market that could actually give you the confidence that the price that you were getting was actually a good price, right? So we started with a very simple example of technology, right? Like you invite people to bid on the car, right? So you are on a phone and you invite a lot of people that you broadcast in the market that there's a car available to you, how much you would like to pay for it, right? So it started with pen and paper. Then it transformed slowly into an app, what we call a dealer app or an auction app, where we enlist all these cars which are coming to us, right, to thousands of dealers which are business partner with us. And those dealers bid in real time to win the car, right? And the best bidder, of course, gets to own the car if the customer is ready. So this is what we call C2B business, meaning customer is directly responsible for selling the car to the interested buyers. And our job is to explain to the customer why this price is the right price for your car, right? So that standardization using technology is what we were able to bring in. And how do we do that, right? So over the years, we are a 7-year-old company, right? I mean, little bit young, but we are sitting on a huge amount of data where we know a car at which point in time will sell for how much, and how much profit we have to make, and what is the price that we can give to the customer. And at the same time, to be able to help them navigate this complex transaction, which also happens to be legal in nature. So determining the price initially, was a very manual process, and then slowly we started gathering all this data, processing this data, understanding car pricing better, both for the customer as well as for the dealer, as well as for us. And for determining that price, because you are doing all these auctions in real time, right? Auction runs for half an hour. We use AI and ML heavily to determine the price of the car, right? And sometimes we are able to give the price that the customer is looking for. Sometimes we are not able to give the price, but if the deal is not right, we simply move away from it, right? Because we know that the customer's expectations are very high. They will not be able to get this price from anywhere in the market, right? So this is one part of the problem, that we use AI and ML heavily. Second part of the problem is for the buyer side, right? People who want to buy cars from us, we do assortment planning, we do forecasting, demand forecasting, which cars are selling faster, which make, model, variant will sell faster, which features are being more preferred, right, in a car for which the people are ready to pay. So we do AI and ML, very heavily to personalize the experience for a particular user, because car buying experience is a very long journey. You don't buy a car just like that, right? Like you would buy many items from an e-commerce website, right, which are like smaller in value, but car you buy maybe few times in your entire lifetime. So it's a very long journey, and we Indians, we love our family too much, so everybody participates in the decision of the car that you actually want to buy, right? So we use AI and ML very heavily there. We have got 7 big mega refurbishment labs, where we refurbish the cars and we guarantee that the car will be in a certain condition before the car is sold to the customer. So all the operations that happen inside MRL, we have to make sure that we are able to forecast the demand for the spare parts. We are able to understand how much money we have to spend on a car in order to make a profit on it, right? So all these processes, we use AI and ML very heavily. Then we have got our NBFC business where we finance the cars. If you don't have enough money, you can actually apply for a loan from us because we know the underlying value of the asset. So we can identify whether you are credit worthy for getting that loan or not, right? And we use AI and ML very heavily. So almost at every part of the journey, we use this data that we collect. And AI and ML is dependent on quality of the data heavily, right? So what we call is data science is 80% data, 20% science, right? So if you don't have quality data, then you will not be able to build successful models and be able to predict accurately. And since we collect all this data very seriously, right, being a technology company, we are able to utilize all this, right, to build models which can help us scale and identify, how to serve our customers in the best possible way.
Clear improvements with this use of AI and all that, with the system understanding the user?
Absolutely. Ours, if you look at from the outside, ours is a very operations-heavy business. That's how people look at it. So if you have to scale, the only way you can scale is the people who don't use technology that heavily, that to add more and more people. But at that scale, your business model itself becomes unviable. You have to be profitable in order to survive as a business. So all this technology that we have been using over the years, collecting all this data, right? We predicted much before that the only way to survive for us in this business would be by collecting data and using technology extensively. So we have seen tremendous amount of, we buy tens of thousands of cars, every month, right? So we are a pioneer in this field. And the reason that we are able to do that month on month, and including COVID, by the way, right? In COVID, we completely changed our business model and we started doing home inspection rather than asking people to come to the branch. This was because we use all these technologies, including AI and ML, extremely heavily, right? And all that quality of data is guaranteed by the quality of the applications that we build for the customers.
Okay. Gaurav, let me bring you here. You have a number of stakeholders in your business. The patients are there, the hospitals are there, the doctors are there. How do you bring, so your platform brings all of these together and then identifies what? I mean, the particulars for surgeries, you decide which, what? Give me an idea. How does the whole thing work?
Sure. So just to tell you what we do, we are in a healthcare business and we are into elective surgeries where we have our own surgeons, we have our own clinics, but we don't own any hospitals of our own. So we partner with over 800 hospitals across 40 cities of India. So for us, the patients are ours, the doctor is ours, but the infrastructure that we are going to use is of partner.
The doctor is yours, is it?
Doctors is ours. So from the point where patient reaches out to us digitally or whether it's through a walk-in in our clinics, and like we have 160 clinics across 40 cities of India. So either they're reaching out there or from the point they reach out to us, it's a care coordinator who is going to talk to the patient, help identify what the concern they may have, and then schedule an appointment with the surgeon at the clinic or do an online consultation. And post that, once a surgery is required, we do price prediction of the surgeries for that patients based on the city, based upon the location they are in, what kind of possible outcomes can come. So we look at different parameters to identify what can be the price, and we also take care of the insurance process. If they have insurance, we will help the whole insurance journey as well. We are
so you do this price prediction, and then what happens?
So we share that prices across various hospitals with the patients. We help them identify which one would be the right one, but they are free to choose which hospital they want to get the surgery done at. Once they do that, we will take care of the admission process, the discharge process, the whole insurance process that happens, and all
that is digitally done.
That is all done. So we are in 40 cities, and we run this distributed ecosystem.
It's a single platform for all of this?
For all of it, yeah. So we have almost 20 subsystems or products that you can say that we've built.
50?
20.
20 subsystems.
Subsystems that we've built that are used by a variety of stakeholders to make sure that one surgery happens.
Okay. And what kind of benefits have patients seen, you think?
Sorry?
What kind of benefits have patients seen, you think?
So I think for the patients, if you think about it, if I would say the patient experience is broken at hospitals. People don't know what to do, how to get the right insurance claims. So we're helping them with the right insurance claims. They don't know what is the right pricing. Because we are doing a lot of surgeries, we get a better price as well. We are a very data-driven, so we are a very tag-driven business where we make sure the patient, when they are getting, what time they are getting admitted, and when they are getting discharged. So we are constantly working with the hospitals to make sure that is being done within our defined tags and getting the insurances approved, which may take some time if you are just going alone. So that is one we do. The surgeons that we have, they are highly experienced surgeons, well qualified. So getting that great experience at an affordable price, at a hospital near you, I think that is what we provide in terms of patient experience.
Okay, okay. Praful, tell me, I mean, logistics in India was some years ago, I remember reading, very inefficient. The overall, logistics costs for the whole economy was supposed to be very high compared to most other economies. Companies like yours have, I would imagine, significantly brought down the costs, increased efficiencies. Give us an idea, how has technology played a role in all of this?
Yeah, thanks. So ShipRocket, like the presenter was telling us, is basically a technology platform that is helping SMB businesses, sellers who want to sell their products online, either through direct channel or through marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart, sustain the business better across the value chain, specifically when an order has come in. And I'll just give you a very simple example. Like if I'm a seller and I'm selling, let's say, bottles, water bottles of a certain kind, I can either choose to sell them on Amazon or Flipkart, in which case the post-order experience, once an order comes to me, is a lot taken care of by the marketplace, whether it's shipping, packaging, communication, returns, cancellations, etc., etc. It's quite sorted. Customers have a very predictable experience. But when I choose to sell it through my own website, so let's say I go to Shopify, I create my own website, prafulbottles.com. While there is Shopify to help create the cart and the website experience, which is a fantastic product, there is Google and Facebook to help you do marketing to get some traffic onto your platform and get orders going. Once the order comes in, the experience is really broken and fragmented. As a seller, I actually feel quite overwhelmed by all the things I have to do. I don't know what couriers to catch on. I don't know where to store my products, how to package them, how to send communication, how to do returns, cancellations, how do I get reviews and ratings, how do I get the feedback loop going, how do I get the return loop of repeat orders coming in. And for all of them, I could practically looking at different processes or products or technology or tools that I have to attach to. And I get lost in the sea of managing all of this as a seller in the direct commerce space. And there are pros and cons of why sellers want to do direct commerce versus marketplace commerce, and people really want to balance both in some sense. This is where ShipRocket is trying to help this entire scattered or fragmented journey to say, hey, can we almost come in as an operating system for you and try and solve most of your problems there, leveraging technology tools, which really starts from saying, hey, you have orders coming in, we can seamlessly process them by keeping your orders in our warehouses. Instant gratification is something that buyers need now. I want my order right now, right here. 1 day, 2 day deliveries are a norm when you buy from Amazon and Flipkart. Why shouldn't be available when I buy from a direct website? So we have 45 warehouses across the country, which are all stitched together to technology. We tell sellers how to store your products, what quantity to store your products in different warehouses, so that they're closer to buyers. Once the order comes in, we can actually ship it very quickly and get it in a day or two to the buyer itself. Making sure that communication is also going out to the buyer, there's appropriate tracking information. The buyer experience comes almost at par with the marketplace experience, saying that, hey, now I can trust this experience because it's first giving me predictability of when it's going to come. If there's any problem, there's a returns experience that kicks in. A person can come in, pick up the order, get it back, give me an exchange, refund can get initiated automatically. It's very much all of that. So with sellers, those kinds of technologies are what we are building and stitching this entire sort of journey together. So there's shipping, there's fulfillment, there's marketing automation. Like I've got all these customers. Let's say I've got 100,000 customers sitting in my database as a seller. How do I target them in a really efficient manner to get the repeat loop going? Like what are the campaigns I need to run? Who should I be targeting through a WhatsApp, through an email? What kind of recommendations I should be putting through communications on my websites, etc. All those kinds of toolings are available on our platform. And what our platform is able to also do is one, leverage the network effect of data. So we're seeing signals, let's say, from Praful as a buyer, not just from a website, but from 10 other websites, because all these websites are hooked onto the ShipRocket platform. And we know how Praful behaves. Like what are his preferences? Should he be allowed to do a lot of COD? Because COD is generally expensive for sellers. Not every COD order gets converted into revenue. 30% of COD's orders actually go back because buyers choose not to accept them. And it's just additional shipping cost for the seller, because the way logistics works in India is that there's a forward cost, and if the courier is bringing it back, there's a reverse cost as well. So I end up incurring 2x the cost with 0 the revenue. So it's a very big hit on my bottom line as a seller. Like how do you optimize that to say, hey, make sure that, we are seeing signals that Praful is probably a risky COD buyer. Make sure you confirm the order twice before you ship it to him, or take a 100 rupees token amount from him so that he's skin in the game before you actually end up shipping the order. Optimizing for the bottom line and reducing the supply chain cost like you were telling. Making sure that you can house your products closer. Like how shipping cost work is, if I'm sending a product from, let's say, Delhi to Assam, the charge will be a zone D charge, which is the highest charge that exists because it's going from a metro city to a non-metro city almost. Versus if I can predictably tell the seller, hey, why don't you ship these 100 SKUs in bulk 1 week before to my Assam warehouse, where it's just going to cost you, 30 rupees just to ship it from there, because it's going to be the same city cost. And when I add the bulk cost of B2B, it's actually going to bring down your shipping cost by 15%. Like those kinds of intelligence is what we try and drive on optimizing business for SMB specifically in the Indian ecosystem.
And it's something I wanted to ask all of you, but are you all on the cloud completely?
Yes.
Completely. Got of you as well?
Yeah, AWS and GCP both, by the way.
Give me an idea. I mean, cloud, the kind of benefits it brings.
So we have been discussing about it, right? Now that all of a sudden the market and the economic scenario has changed a lot, right? How much benefit we are really getting from the cloud, right? Earlier it was a no-brainer, but now, the value of the cloud is being questioned inside the company, right? In almost every meeting. So for me as a technologist, who started, deploying his code on servers, on machines, on clients' machines, when there was absolutely no visibility, no control on what operating system, what libraries, what other frameworks are running on that particular machine. Cloud gives you capability to run faster, to innovate much faster, right? So 10 years back, the releases of the software, new releases used to happen either yearly or half-yearly level. But today we run sprint cycles. Every 2 weeks we release tons of features. And we can do A/B experiments, collect more data, understand the customer better, and then be able to improve the customer's experience and relationship. So what cloud gives you is capability to build all these features much faster with much less number of programmers, ideally, right? If it is not happening, then you are not exploiting the capabilities of the cloud, ideally, but that is what it is supposed to be. Because at the end of the day, cloud is a cost, right? Cloud is also running on servers, on physical servers. But because tons of things have already been done for you by the cloud providers, you should be able to exploit them. Are we able to do that to the extent at which we would want to? Probably not. But there are many companies which are still sitting on the cloud but working in the same old fashion as they used to work, right? So spending tons of amount of money, millions of dollars, right, including startups every month, but not yet be able to leverage. Because if you see a site broken and the company says that we are on the cloud, that simply means they are not able to exploit what cloud actually has to offer. So from security, reliability, the performance that you may get, the choices that you get to build your tech stack, it gives you immense value. But it's totally up to you as a customer how you are able to use that.
Okay. Similar thing, Gaurav?
Yeah, I think what Marut has already said, but I think it also adds up the the managed services aspect that it provides. So why do you want to reinvent the wheel when a lot of managed services are already there? It's faster and it's highly available, it's redundant, and some of them also focus a lot more on security as well by or from the start itself. So a lot of things, a lot of advantages that add up. And I think if you go and try to do it yourself on, let's say, a data center, or you have your own data center, I think these challenges will add up a lot more cost than the benefits that we already have from the
Okay.
law.
Rahul, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think one more element is the pay-per-use almost, or the scale-up, scale-down model, which is very, very flexible. And given, like, at least for us in the startup ecosystem, and presuming for both of you guys as well, like, a lot of experiments need to happen at times. You're not sure that whether you're going to scale this product really fast. Sometimes you'll just have seasonality kicking in where you need to, auto-scale servers, and you need so much more load continued. To do that yourself and manage that yourself by, actually physically buying hardware or trying to manage your data centers, etc. It's going to be super hard to manage, versus this is very plug and play. To say, okay, I want to, auto-scale this quickly for just 2 days. I want to test something that is new. I've seen if it doesn't work, I will scale down very, very quickly. So all those kinds of, with the managed services layer that Gaurav was talking about, is super efficient. I think it
But you have to be watchful of amount of, that you're not overusing and all of that, no? Costs can go out of control if you are not really careful about it,
yes,
right?
and that's the beauty of, that you can bring this up and down very, very quickly as well, that if you really want to. And the optimization that can be done there on figuring out, hey, I want, a lesser configuration server today, and I want to bring this down because load is coming down, or I want to go this, 2 notches up on my server configuration for just a week or 2 weeks. It's very simple to do. Like, to optimize, even incremental cost during weeks, during months, during seasonality in the year, I think that's the advantage that this brings along.
Okay. I know, Maruti, we'll let you go in a couple of minutes. Gaurav, cybersecurity. You deal with a lot of sensitive data, patient data, and all of that. Give us an idea. Cybersecurity, how do you manage it? How important is it for SMBs?
I think because we are dealing a lot of patient data, it's important that we anonymize a lot of data that we get from patients. So our care coordinators do not get access to the PI information of a patient. They get, not exactly what they get the name, but they don't get the contact information or whatever that can that should not be given to them. So that's what we've done. All the products, wherever PI data can be avoided, we've avoided that. The regulars, the encryption, making sure there are DLP protocols involved wherever the data is being exchanged between different stakeholders, that we've done. I think on the endpoint security, we are also building some DLP tools around there, where any data that we're sharing about patient, there is a layer that checks it up and makes sure that the data is secure. And whether it comes to data analysis, whether it comes to other stakeholders, they don't get access to any personal identifiable information. So proper access controls have been put up.
Okay. One last question, Marut. AR, VR, metaverse. Are you thinking along those lines?
So images play a very important role, right, in our customers' journey when they want to buy a car. So we are trying to do a lot of experiments with it. I won't really call it metaverse, but immersive experience for the customer. So we are running an experiment in Australia where we are identifying the critical areas of the car's exteriors, right, what we call hotspots. And those hotspots will be highlighted when the customer is actually viewing the car. And you click on a hotspot, then you will be able to see the details, right? If the car is damaged, or there is some specific feature that we would like to highlight, so that customer, before buying the car and paying online, is able to make an informed decision and not back out from the decision at a later stage. So we give 7 days, no question buyback guarantee, in which you can return the car, and you want minimum returns as much as possible, otherwise you incur too much amount of cost that you will never be able to recover from. And what is the basis of that? The basis of that is, are you able to build that trust with the customer that I am giving you the product that you actually were looking at, right? So visual representation is very critical for us, and that immersive experience is what we are trying to create. So when you, for example, rotate the car in 360-degree view, you will be able to see all the hotspots that are applicable for that particular section of the car, right? That is one. Then second, what we are doing is we are trying to detect the damages to the car's exterior using image processing. So again, AI and ML is being used heavily. Probably 5 years back it was not even thinkable because the compute costs were extremely high, but now with all these latest processors and everything, right? So we are working towards it, but we are not betting heavily on the metaverse per se, but it's a demand that is coming from the developers and the designers a lot. But we have to go slowly because car buying experience is very, very personal, right? You still want to go and visit 10 different OEMs, right? Test drive the car and then probably be able to make the decision. Even though Western world is a little bit ahead in this, as usual, right? But like I said, we are experimenting a lot and understanding what the customer is actually looking for and how we can make that whole experience online, right? Because that's the key to our survival.
Very interesting. Well, okay, one last shuffle. Blockchain. Are you at all? You think that's going to become important in logistics?
See, it's interesting. I like what Rajesh was saying earlier, not get carried away by technology. A lot of the time what happens is you sort of think that it's almost like a solution finding a problem at times to say, hey, I want to do blockchain, now let me go and figure out a use case versus the other way around to say, hey, where do I really need blockchain to exist? At least for our case, I think where it sort of makes sense, again, very much in theory right now is that, and this is related to with data privacy and making sure that, there is only people who need access to data can actually access that data. We are sort of like a middleware where orders for, let's say, if Sujit is placing an order on a website that's coming to us and then it's going down to a courier partner, a lot of PII data exists there to say, hey, your phone number, your address, what have you ordered, it could be a personal item, etc., etc. But a lot of this information needs to be revealed for a lot of the operations to work. Like, how do you make sure that you have the appropriate contracts in place with blockchain as a technology to say only, expose this information on need basis at this particular point in time to the right audience or to the right stakeholder, and then also track it further so that, there's enough protection of that data and access restrictions to happen. Could be an interesting use case, honestly, right now. But again, I'd say it's still in theory, to be honest.
Okay. Thank you so much. I know time's up. Questions can probably be later. Oh, there is a hand going up. Okay, quick one.
Sir, my question is from Mr. Gaurav Bagga. So, as you said recently that you work for the patients, those who are medically insured. But what about those patients, those who do not have their medical insurance, number one? And number two, as you said that patients are yours and the doctors are yours, right? So how you manage that infrastructure being involved in the medical science? Do you negotiate with the doctors or because you have to take the one price figure for those? Like, so how do you manage all these things?
So the first one, I think we do both. We do cash, we do insurance cases as well, whether it's cashless reimbursement, we do both the cases. And coming to the second question, I think because we work with the doctors who are working with Pristine Care only, so we don't have to negotiate with them because that's part of when they join Pristine Care. While we are using the infrastructure of the hospital, we have a lot of checks on what are the requirements for the kind of surgeries that we do, the medical checks, whether it's, or even looking at the experience that the patient may get. So we look at all those things while we onboard a hospital as a partner, and the commercials happen with the hospital partner then.
So you might have the different price quotation from different hospitals, like that?
Yes. So even if you think about it, even if you go to a hospital, based on the insurance you have, the price of the surgery is different. It is not that one price fits all, even in the same hospital. So it's all varied. So there is a lot of different combinations that we play with while we are predicting the price for a patient at a particular hospital.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I think time's up, right? I'm sure there are mementos for them.
Yes, absolutely. You said that right. And to thank them, gratitude truly from all of us to all of you. I would like to invite on stage, ladies and gentlemen, the lady who never ceases to evolve and inspire, Miss Winnie Alex, AVP Response, The Times of India, and of course, a rock star moderator, Mr. Sujit, to kindly give away the mementos to our esteemed panelists. Thank you for sharing such enriching views and thoughts. And thank you once again to Sujit for moderating such a thought-provoking session across multiple sectors. Let's give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting all of you to get closer to the camera. A beautiful smile that encapsulates the entire experience. Thank you so much once again. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we segue into the next session, I know a lot of you from the members of the audience have requested for a meeting with the Lenovo India team, and hence we've arranged a networking session for all of you later this evening over cocktails. So please do join us after the event, and we're all looking forward to meet you all there as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we have a presentation from Intel, and I would like to invite on the stage Mr. Nitin Bajaj. He's the business director for Conglomerate at Intel. In this role, he advises the end customers and system integrators on the best of Intel architecture and how they can leverage the same to achieve the best-in-class performance, improve efficiency, bolster resilience, optimize cost, provide agility, and maximize experience, all at the same time for the edge to cloud solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bajaj.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Nitin Bajaj, and thank you for inviting me here. Right. So earlier this week, our Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the ITU area office, and he said that within 6 months of launch of 5G, we are already talking about 6G. And he also said that this is the decade for India decade. This has been said earlier as well, which is very, very true. So today, when you see, I'll not go through the numbers, but when you see India is a very thriving economy today, and also we have virtually eliminated cash. More so, we are also building a thriving revolution around digitization. And all of this is just getting started. So I see a lot of opportunities in front of us. So just talking about Intel first. So our commitment to Intel, our commitment to India has becoming ever stronger. We have been in India for 30 plus years, and we have the second largest innovation center in India with about 14,000 plus engineers. We have been investing regularly in India, and which is over the tune of $7 billion. And some of the leading products on which the world runs have been designed in India over the last 24 years. We also enable a wide ecosystem. Lenovo is our great partner. We enable a wide ecosystem that brings technologies or to life for you all. We also are committed to investing in the community. We invest in future. And as an example, the AI for Youth program trained almost like 350K plus engineers in India. So when you look at this one, today we are applying our reach, scale, and resources to enable you achieve your digital transformation aspirations. Inspired by the Moore's Law, which is what we believe in, we continuously work to advance the design and manufacturing of semiconductors to help address your business challenges. And earlier in the presentations, cloud has been talked about, edge has been talked about, on-prem data centers have been talked about. All of this is being powered by Intel in many of the cases, or most of the cases, as I would say. So we create world-leading technology, and which essentially improves the life of every person on our planet. Sorry. Okay. So here, essentially, I talked about the technologies, but across the industries, what you see is that the number of use cases have been growing exponentially. In the previous sessions, we were talking about AI, we were talking about blockchain, and a lot of other such things. When you look at these use cases, it could be in the areas of artificial intelligence, or data analytics, or 5G networking, and storage, etc. CIOs and people who are driving technology see different kind of pain points, and the kind of pain points that they see are essentially about getting the right performance, getting the right throughput, and also reducing the overall latency, finally also having the right kind of TCO. So in this regard, we have been building generation over generation. We have been building new data center technologies, as well as end user computing or client computing technologies. So this year, we launched the 4th generation of Xeon scalable processors and Intel Xeon CPU Max series processors. If you have been watching the news, only this week we also launched the 13th generation of Intel Core processors, which essentially go into the laptops, desktops, and workstations. Now, these 4th generation Xeon scalable processors, if I come back to that, have the most number of built-in accelerators of any data center CPU processors that you know of, and which essentially is able to deliver the customer needs, ranging from all kinds of workloads, be it a general purpose workload or the latest emerging workloads that you see in the market today. Also, this is the biggest platform transition for Intel over many number of years now, with new connectivity, new I/O, and new memory technologies. When I say connectivity, essentially it is the DDR5. When I say I/O, it is the PCI Gen 5, and I'm calling out memory technology, it is the CLX 1.1. So essentially, you are getting the most feature-rich products from Intel that can give you fast performance, optimal performance for your data center workloads. So our approach has been that we focus on bringing differentiated performance for real kind of workloads. And what you see here is the gen over gen or generation over generation performance improvement. So this is kind of 3rd generation versus 4th generation performance improvement. And some of the things were called out in the earlier sessions, which talked about liquid cooling. So essentially, you are able to cool processors with liquid, and you are able to get more performance from your data center workloads. And how are we able to do this? We work with you, we work with our customers, we partner with you to understand your requirements, and then we bring them into our technologies, and eventually we are able to help you achieve the best in terms of your digital transformation aspirations. So finally, I don't want to take a lot of your time, so you can count on us. I'll be happy to take any questions later, but you can really count on us. We are happy to listen to your requirements and serve you better. And what we believe in is to bring in the best of technology and solutions to you, and more importantly, work very closely with you to help you realize your promise of India. And I look forward to meeting you during the networking session, build a stronger connection, and obviously doing wonderful with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May I request you to kindly stay with us on the stage as I invite Mr. Shaju to join us and extend a token of appreciation. So can we please have you up on the stage, as we would like to take this moment to extend gratitude to you. There's something else for you as well. A little token of appreciation and felicitation. Thank you so much once again. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the most exciting segment of this evening, the most awaited IT4 SMB Awards, as a part of the larger initiative, Lenovo IT4 SMB, we undertook an in-depth industry study with over 200 plus ITDMs across India with a knowledge partner, Ipsos, which was founded in 1975 and is among the top 3 global market research companies, the largest ones, and is also listed on Paris Stock Exchange since 1999. To understand the challenges and needs of the mid-market enterprises, business to scale up through technology. This study would be published as a white paper for the SMB community to leverage for their own journey towards tech adoption for their business. The Lenovo team would be happy to engage with each one of you with this study. Now let's have a quick look at the top highlights, and to do that, may I please invite on the stage Mr. Ajay Sehgal to unveil the synopsis. Can we have Mr. Sehgal join us on the stage and unveil the synopsis? Here we go, all eyes on the screen. Thank you so much. I'm going to request you to kindly remain on the stage with us. Now, finally, we move on to IT4 SMB Awards to recognize individuals and companies who are on the path of transformation enabled through smarter technological solutions. We have EY as the official tabulator of the awards, and we also have a stellar jury. The members of the jury were Mr. Satyavrat Mishra, Head Corporate IT, Godrej Industries Limited, Mr. Amit Saluja, Senior Director and Head NASCOM, Gandhinagar. Yes, you can definitely give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Manoj Chuk, 4-decade award-winning Indian IT industry transformational leader and distinguished IIT alumnus. And Mr. Abhay Bapna, AVP IT, Adani Wilmar Limited. Let's have a huge round of applause for all of them. Now let's get started. Once again, Mr. Sehgal, if you please could do the honors of unveiling the IT4 SMB Award trophy on the screen. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, all eyes on the screen, please. Well, just like the rising of the phoenix, the IT4 SMB Award Trophy is symbolic to powering the rise of the SMBs. How very apt. Now we have Mr. Sehgal with us on the stage. I would like to also request Mr. Ashok Bindra to join him on the stage. Now, like we always say, this is a moment we all have been waiting for. Let's turn up the energy, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the first set of awards are the organizational awards. We begin the evening with recognizing the emerging SMBs. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment from now, we will know who the winner is. And there it comes, ladies and gentlemen. In less than a few seconds, we'll have the winners on the stage and, of course, on the screen.
The second runner-up is LocoNow.
Congratulations. I would like to call upon Ms. Seema Chawla, CMO and team, to come up and receive the award. Well, congratulations are truly in order for the entire team. May I request you to join us in the center of the stage, in the spotlight. It's your moment to shine. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will know who our first runner-up is. And we are ready to announce, but we need all of you to keep clapping, ladies and gentlemen, once we announce the name of the winner. Requesting you all to have a landslide of applause.
Actually, the name is very, very interesting. The first runner-up is Checkbook.
Congratulations, Checkbook. I would like to call upon Nikunj Agarwal, CTO, to come up on the stage and receive the award. Well done. A very, very well-deserved award. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's identify the winners. The winner of the emerging SMB category. And there it is.
To Power Private Limited.
I would like to call upon Ms. Sonia Swami, Head IT, on behalf of O2 Power Private Limited. Well, the only music we need now, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of your applause. We now proceed to our next category, ladies and gentlemen, and this is small-sized business. Let's have a look at the winners in this category. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment from now, we will have our runner-up and winner walking up on the stage.
Okay. So the first runner-up is BL Life Sciences Private Limited.
Congratulations are truly in order. Unfortunately, the leadership team is traveling, hence they are unable to receive this award. On their behalf, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Nidhi Kapoor, Senior Assistant Editor, The Economic Times, to come up on the stage and collect the award. And for a perfect photo opportunity, may I request all of you to come closer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment. And now it's time to announce the winner of small-sized business.
And the winner is Lal 10.
I would like to call upon Mr. Albert Rigo, Vice President, to come up on the stage and receive this award on behalf of Lal 10. So ladies and gentlemen, we need 10 times the applause for Lal 10. The final organizational award category is to recognize the mid-sized businesses. Let's have a look at the runner-up.
And the runner-up is Marengo Asia Healthcare Private Limited.
I would like to call upon Mr. Venkatesh Varalu, GMIT, to come up on the stage and receive this award on behalf of Marengo Asia Healthcare Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, and the winner will be announced shortly, the winner of mid-sized business. Ladies and gentlemen, all eyes right there.
Oh, the winner is Ship Rocket.
Requesting Mr. Praful Podar to receive this award on behalf of Ship Rocket. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Bindra, for doing the honors. I request Mr. Sehgal to stay back on the stage. We now quickly move on to the individual category of awards. I would like to request Mr. Ajay Iyer to join Mr. Sehgal on the stage. First up, SMB Leader of the Year, ladies and gentlemen.
And the runner-up is Sudhir Gandotra.
Sudhir Gandotra, Best Book Buddies Technology Private Limited. Now, as the cue card comes back on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, let's identify the winner.
And the winner is Bhairav Kumar Mandal.
Congratulations, Bhairav Kumar Mandal. Mr. Mandal walking up on the stage from Enerture Learnings Private Limited. Congratulations to you. Now may I request both of you to kindly join us right in the center of the stage while our next winners walk up. Let's move on to the next category, ladies and gentlemen. Our next category is for the SMB CTO CIO of the Year.
And the winner is Dalveer Singh.
The winner of the SMB CTO CIO of the Year goes to Dalveer Singh from Kusum Healthcare Private Limited. Well done. And finally, we have a jury special award. May I request you all to announce the jury special award? Yes, this category has to be very special. This comes in from the members of a jury, a special award category, and the winner is...
The winner is Sanskrit E-Solutions and Services Private Limited.
Let's welcome Mr. Joy Prakash Gupta from Sanskrit E-Solutions and Service Private Limited. On behalf of Sanskrit E-Solutions and Services Private Limited, our champions are on the stage. Well, this truly is a special moment. And let's join in the celebration by putting our hands together. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And we would like to take a moment and celebrate your victory once again. So I would like to take the honor of inviting all our winners back up on stage for a photo opportunity. Requesting all the winners to join us on the stage. Yes, on the stage, all the winners, all the champions we've identified. Can we have all your presence on the stage right now, as we would like to take the opportunity of capturing this picture perfect moment. We'd like to welcome you all on the stage once again. Yes, let's welcome all of you. And as we do that, we truly believe that all of them are champions. For all the other champions who are making their way, we'd like to welcome you all. Well, we wanted to make this moment a little more special for all of you. So we are going to play one song that truly signifies the spirit of each and every one of you. And we are going to do a very, very simple step together, all right? DJ, let's hit the music. Here we go. Can I see your hands forward, everybody, your trophies?
Champion, champion.
Come on, everybody.
Champion, champion.
Hands up in the air.
Champion. Everybody knows it, bravo.
A little more energy.
Champion, champion.
Fantastic.
Champion, champion. Champion, champion. Everybody knows Chris Gayle is a champion.
Thank you so much, DJ. This is your last chance to give them a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Give them all you got for their stellar performance. Thank you so much once again to all of you. And congratulations. Yes, you may now take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, before we come to a close of our last of the series, Time Techies Tech Drives, there are three very, very special people from Lenovo India who have partnered with the Times of India Group on this audacious journey to empower the mid-market segment with tech-enabled engagements through the IT4 SMB initiative. I would like to invite Mr. Shaju Kumar on the stage once again to felicitate them with a token of appreciation. Welcome once again, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to give a huge round of applause for Rashmi Khainari, Lead Enterprise Marketing and CRM, Tamanna Tasneem, a Marketing Manager, REL, and Tanu Purohit, Campaign and Event Specialist. Rashmi and Tanu unfortunately couldn't make it to Delhi, but of course we are happy we have Tamanna with us today. I would like to invite her on the stage. And let's welcome the beautiful lady with a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like they say, the true mark of a great leader be somebody who knows the way, shows the way, and most importantly, goes all the way. So to present the vote of thanks, I would like to call upon one such leader. Let's welcome Mr. Ajay Sehgal on the stage to deliver the vote of thanks.
I think I don't want to be between dinner and time now. So I would only say thank you so much for coming here. And in the end, I will only say one line that disrupt, otherwise you will get disrupted. Use technology and go for disruption. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to the end of the Times Techies Tech Drive and IT4 SMB Awards Delhi edition, a part of the larger Lenovo IT4 SMB initiative in association with the Times Group. Thank you all for being a part of this transformational endeavor. Please do join us for cocktail and dinner as we conclude today's event. Thank you everyone and congratulations. Until we meet all of you again next year for another fantastic edition. My name is Fatima Lokanwala. I'd like to sign off and wish all of you a great evening. 3 magical words for all of you. Bar is open.